Absolutely. And here we go, starting out with PvP on Antigua Shipyard. What do you think about that matchup?
I really think that this matchup on Antigua Shipyard is a really nice matchup. There's a lot of really awesome places where Protoss can do blink play, drop play, and just all sorts of fun stuff. So I really would not be surprised if we see some of these really fun things on this map. Actually, going back, when I think of PvP on this map, I think of a match between there was two master players that I did get to stream. I did get to cast, and it was a great match where they utilized the map to their advantage when one of the players was attacking the other player, and he was blinking stalkers up from the natural into the main and then back into the natural, constantly keeping his opponent moving from base to base. Now, but let's go ahead and introduce the game that we are focused on. Spawning in the bottom left is the pink Protoss. We have none other than UltraGumby, and he's going to be playing up against his opponent. He has been in many of our tournaments. He has had some luck and good luck. He's had some bad luck, and we'll see how he does. He is none other than SirColveskey.
No, and I forgot to announce this going into it, and remind me going forward that doesn't look like either of these players are aware of it. This is cross spawn only. And it looks like I normally announce that in the go ahead and get that announced in the game channel before we start. It looks like both of them are just going to find out the hard way that this is a cross spawn map. Alright, and right now we're seeing similar timings for both of them. Gateway's almost identical time. UltraGumby got his down just one hair faster. He's getting his gas down just one hair faster. But literally in a matter of less than a second of each other. And both it does look like SirColveskey has found his opponent first, and is going to go ahead and take a gander at what is going on here.
Now, that would actually be the difference in your timing there as the scout makes his way in. SirColveskey is slightly behind because he does have that scout in his opponent's base, and his opponent doesn't quite have the scout out in the base yet, which means that it was a little bit late. But it looks like we have a forward pylon here by SirColveskey. If this is not caught, then this could be deadly.
Yeah, especially when we did see UltraGumby go ahead and send a probe double checking that one didn't drop. And he caught it on the second round that he dropped it. So that will be quite interesting if he does not start building that direction, which his pylons are not showing that. We're going to have to see right here. Oh, it's getting so close, but he can't quite see it yet.
Oh, man.
This is why you never want a probe left alone in your base.
No, you definitely don't. One of the major things that you have to do, no matter what race you play, is you need to keep up with where your opponent's probes are, where your opponent's scouting probes are, because those are extremely important. Looks like we're going to have a first sell it, but oh my god, and all these probes pulled off the mineral line to deal that. That is not a good idea at all, as that's going to prevent mining time, and this probe is still going to get away, only to die to the zealot. So that was really not a good move on SirColveskey's part. He needed to keep those probes on the mineral line and just utilize the zealot, utilize a stalker, get a stalker out so that he can snipe out the probe when he needs to. It looks like a second gas is going to go down, which means this could be the Korean 4-gate.
And we did see that Sir is going ahead and getting a couple of what am I saying? Stalkers out first, and on the flip side of that, we have got Gumby, who went Stalker first, whereas Kolbesky went Zealot first. But then we've got the Sentry coming up here, and the Sentry's just not going to matter in a little bit of time, as the robotics is going down for SirColveskey, so that he can get that that observer in place. Sorry guys, my words are all over the place. To be able to bounce right into that, but it looks like he's going to do this with a
3-gate robo. The second gas timing was a little bit off. He's not going to be able to get that Immortal out as quickly. Maybe he does just want the Observer, but it looks like he is going to warp in 3 Stalkers, or no, 2 Stalkers and a Zealot at the main base of UltraGumby, who does not have any vision of this at all. He's going to probably time this with the two Stalkers and the Zealot making their way down from across the map from the Xel'Naga Tower up into the natural. If he times this well, this could be a very deadly attack. He's going to have that probe to put down another forward pylon. He's going to have that pressure at the front to draw the army, and he's going to have that pressure from behind to do damage. And this is going to be absolutely crazy. The forward pylon does go down. The Zealot's going to start making its way up. The Stalker's coming right behind. The force fields go down. And now the army coming in from behind. The force field did indeed miss. The army is now going to be engaging from the front of the base, from the back of the base. This is a complete sandwich inside of UltraGumby's own base. More units trying to be warped in, but now there's only 1 sentry left and it has no energy at all. So more units can be brought in through the front of the base, and there's nothing that can be done about that. UltraGumby going to try and deal with this. He's going to move his Stalkers in position, try to snipe out that pylon. That pylon is not going to fall to this. He needs to take out the army because it's just looking really good for SirColveskey. He has more Stalkers, he has the Zealot, and the Immortal is on its way, but it's not out yet.
Yeah, he is trying to take this down. Ironically, UltraGumby actually had to lose some army to get himself away from being supply blocked. And at this point, Sir has got to get another warp in, or
the Immortal does finish.
The Immortal does make it out, so all that work for nothing. But that will be the last one coming out, as he's going to have to seriously push here.
Oh
another
man,
warp
that
in,
Immortal
I think
is
was
still
actually
up.
a mistake at this point. I think he should have stopped. It does look like he wants that Immortal down. He's not going to get to it.
No, he isn't. And those Immortals do
More
tons of
Stalkers
damage.
Are going to fall. And there we go. And that Immortal is staying alive with its 11 hit points as shields are starting to regenerate. And now we've got a situation where SirColveskey is going to have to start pushing this out. He is supply blocked at this point because of that lost pylon. He does have another one. He needs to get his Immortal working across the map right now because UltraGumby's Immortal is close to death. So this is the time to continue to push for the kill. So just keep warping in. Looks like he's
I don't know if I completely agree with that. And the reason is, yeah, he can push out here, and that's not a bad idea. But he does have the Immortal count, he does have the forward pylon, he can warp in. But the thing is that SirColveskey is really ahead right now. He did force a lot of army out of UltraGumby, and he can now force this into a macro game, and he can win it. So right now, it really depends on how he wants to go. Yes, he can push out, and yes, he could go for the win now. Alternatively, if it would be safer, and it would be well, yeah, it would just be safer. It would take longer, but it would be more guaranteed if he went for that long macro game because he's already ahead after forcing so much army out of his opponent.
Yeah, I do agree with that. That being able to expand behind this would be some really impressive work. But at the same time, when you have the ability to have a robo down and you're still producing Immortals, like right now we've got 2 Immortals sitting on the low ground. We've only got that one with 11 hit points sitting in the center, and right now we're waiting on another one coming out. He can use this to his advantage and put this out behind him.
That's going to be very hard with those sentries. Those sentries do have the force field. He's trying to get the Observer across the map, but meanwhile we have 2 Zealots warped in by UltraGumby at SirColveskey's main. And there's nothing and his supply block, he cannot deal with this.
Well, there goes the supply block issue. Right there.
Oh man, probes are going to try to pull in to deal with this. But the Zealots are going to tear this apart.
Yeah, they're still, and he's not chronoing out this Immortal. I'm not sure why. He's just sitting here. I don't know why he pushed back like that. And now
but
here we go.
He's going to push into his opponent's base. And no,
this is nice placement of the Observer, so he is getting hits behind the force field.
Which is exactly what you want. You definitely want to get those hits off.
That Immortal in the front was
the Immortal
really bad.
Probably going to fall? No, it doesn't look like it is. And it looks like SirColveskey not going to be able to make his way up there. But UltraGumby in a better position now than he was before. This is what I'm talking about. This is exactly what. This is exactly why he really should have either gone for the kill right then and not hesitated even a second, or he should have just gone for a macro game, because right now UltraGumby has him in a very tough position. More Zealots going to be warped in here at the natural, and they're going to make their way up to the main, and SirColveskey behind in drone, not drone, but behind in probe count, behind in economy, and he's going to be behind even further here in a second. So what he needs to do right now is he needs to focus on the important side, the important aspects of this game, and that is getting that macro lead. Right now his opponent is contained, his opponent cannot move out at this point, and if he utilizes force fields well enough, then he's going to be able to keep his opponent on one base while he goes for 2, 3, or even 4 bases.
Absolutely. And just now pushing down to see this forward pylon, which he should have suspected after the first time that he was sitting on the. I mean, you're sitting there on the lower end, and yet somehow Zealots are in your base. That should have seemed a little bit fishy the first time. Oh, 1 misplaced. Oh, 2 misplaced. Stalkers do go down, UltraGumby, and now we've got a couple stalkers up on the high ground that are going to get taken down, and right now, I mean, this is really starting to push further and further into UltraGumby's favor. There's the word I'm looking for. Because right now, I mean, SirColveskey's got the financial lead to take an expansion. He's not doing it. He's behind a worker. He's not bringing in another worker, so he's. I mean, look at this. Like you said, this is a perfect containment right now. So why not go ahead? I mean, we're almost at. You know, we're sitting at another 400 minerals. Here we go. Expansion finally here, and this is really going to push it, because this is going to allow him to add a couple more gates in.
Oh, and that army is cut in half, not only by the force fields, but it was drawn out. There's an immortal back there not fighting at all.
Yeah, and at this point, yeah, it is time for Sir to go home and call that a good try, but not going to work.
But now Sir, not in a horrible position right now. He is behind in supply, and he is behind in army, but aside from that, he does have his base coming up here, so he is going to be able to gain that economic lead. So as long as UltraGumby stays in his base and does not move out, this is going to be a pretty good position for SirColveskey, as it looks like UltraGumby trying to get in a position to grab his natural is going to be so far behind on that, as the natural for SirColveskey is nearly finished already.
Absolutely. And Sir has not fixed. Hopefully he catches this immortal that comes out, because they are still set to rally to the other side, so I hope he catches it and doesn't let it actually rally across the map.
Well, it looks like this observer is going to make its way across the map here, and yeah, that immortal was pulled back by SirColveskey, but this observer here by UltraGumby is going to be able to get in there and see everything. And it's going to be able to see, hey, I can probably move out at this time.
And you can see by the placement of SirColveskey's observer, exactly, which I don't really agree with the placement. You can see that's exactly where he wants to drop his warp prism. So he wanted to check that corner, and if he continues this, we're going to see if he's going to utilize this. He is taking it unloaded over. It is going to walk right over a Zealot, so we should see some movement. Yep, there we go.
Yep, the stalkers are being pulled now.
And with it being completely unloaded, it can't even drop first, so this is not going to be a good move.
Ooh, like maybe it depends on the positioning, actually, because it looks like the stalker's way over here on the right side of the base. And actually, he can utilize this to his advantage. If he was pressuring at the front of the base while he did a warp in at the main, then that would be an absolutely amazing idea. It looks like SirColveskey in such an economic lead. He's going to be able to build up his army quicker, and he does need to get Colossus out, because Colossus tech is up for his opponent.
Absolutely. And I do like how he noted that his warp prism was spotted and decided to just pull that to the side for now. Try to see if we can use it later, but right now let's just leave it over there.
Yes.
It does concern me a little bit that we do have the forge down for UltraGumby, and he should be starting his upgrades. We still don't have a forge down for SirColveskey, and with
We
Thermal
don't.
Lance on its way, if he starts pushing into that +1, it's going to start getting a little bit more troublesome, as we do have a supply block going. And
Well,
there goes the +1.
at this point for SirColveskey, this is definitely not a really good position because there's already one Immortal out, not one Immortal, one Colossus out. There's already one Colossus out for his opponent, and he's just now trying to get his Robotics Bay up, and his Robotics Bay is so far behind right now. Whereas I've said it before, and many people have said it before many different times on the IvD Yogi Time games, and a lot of people agree with this, that PvP is all about the Colossus count. If you have more Colossus than your opponent and the army to back it, then you're gonna win.
And I'm not really, one thing I'm on Sir's side, and then I'll take a look on the other side as well. You've got two bases here. You added on Colossus Tech and a Forge, but still sitting on 3 gates, which is a little bit unusual that there was no more gates or another robotics put down. And then we've got the same thing going on for Ultra Gumby. I'm a little bit interested on why so little was added. Both of them did the exact same thing. They added Colossus Tech and started to work with upgrades. And we've got Ultra Gumby supply blocking himself again, and here comes a warp in into taking out one pylon. This is not going to be a good position here. He needs to get to these workers, albeit there's not many left over here, but he's got to make it worth his while. And it looks like he was only able to take out one pylon and 2 workers, which is only 200 minerals worth of damage for a 300 mineral drop.
Yeah, not a good trade at all, especially since this main is nearly completely mined out. I think SirColveskey really should focus more on the natural right now. He should fly his warp prism around the back, in towards the natural, where he can warp in close, right there at the mineral line, and just kill probes that way. Because right now he is not doing any damage with what he's doing, and he is slightly behind.
Starting to get more than slightly, because he did put his forge down, but yet he's not started any upgrades on it. We already have the +1 attack for UltraGumby. We already have the Colossus lead, and now he's getting the armor tech as well. This is, and now we see the +1 starting as well. But we did see UltraGumby also add on another gate, and right now a decision needs to be made by Sir. He needs to get on his 3rd, or he needs to add something on. But right now is a good time to push over to the 3rd, as these mains are mined out. So, I mean, both of these guys are really only mining off one base for the most part. There are 150 minerals total left on UltraGumby's main, but then it's out, who has added 2 more gates actually. So he is going to continue to keep his spending in a better position and his upgrades up.
But he needs to warp in more sentries, really. His army only has 4 sentries in it right now, and he has a lot of gas to work with here. So more than anything, I feel like he needs those sentries. He needs to start getting those out, because you need about 10 to 12 sentries in your army. It looks like SirColveskey going to go for his 3rd, but we might have UltraGumby moving out. Was SirColveskey too late on moving out? I really think he was, because grabbing his 3rd. I mean,
oh no! He's only taking stalkers over.
Oh, UltraGumby going to pull his army back, thinking he cannot take this. This is going to give SirColveskey a really good position, because now he's going up on a 3rd base. He's going to have mining from 2 bases as opposed to mining from 1 base, and he's going to be able to drop down more robos and more gateways and produce even more, even faster.
As we do have his +1 finished up, and him working on his +1 armor. Neither of these guys have dropped a Twilight Council yet to start working on their +2s, so we're getting closer and closer to these evening out on upgrades.
Oh, it does look like UltraGumby going to start pushing out now. The question is, can this be held by SirColveskey? He has the sentry count that he needs, but he needs to be able to place those right. But it looks like this army is going to maybe walk around. No, it does look like it's going to attack in the center of this army, completely out of position. All those stalkers way out of position. The force field's going to go down, and those stalkers are going to fall before the rest of the army comes in, and that's not a good position at all for SirColveskey.
That's enough damage to just walk back and say, hey, I just taking a lead. Oh, now we do need to pull back, because now when almost all your army is Colossus, that's not a good thing. So you do need other units with it. As he is warping in more, he's going for more stalkers. That was a bad engagement for Sir, and UltraGumby at this point has got to get his third going as well. We do see him getting charge started, which is really going to help a lot with getting to those Colossus, getting to those Immortals, and to cause those force fields to get off, and a Dark Shrine going down as well. So it looks like he is going to push it like that. Of course, we do have the Observer for Sir sitting out, so there's not too much detection reason it can be used, but I think it looks like I'm going to guess he's going charge into Archon to back this up.
It's very likely that he is. Archons are extremely powerful units, maybe not so much against the Protoss army, but against it's still a really good tanking unit. It can take a lot of damage, it can crush force fields, and it's not a bad idea at all to make it part of your main army. But I really honestly think that we're probably going to see DT play, as Dark Templar are so good, especially in this matchup.
We do see UltraGumby going ahead finally and getting his third going. Interesting, you know, he has played this a little bit smart on. He's got one of his gases on his natural. He's only been collecting one from, because he's been riding high on gas, low on minerals. And I always like when a player can adjust accordingly. But we do see Sir taking his fourth right now, but just now getting his Twilight Council started, whereas +2 is almost finished for UltraGumby. UltraGumby seems to be having some problems with keeping himself from being supply blocked, and that seems to be his biggest concern. He does really need to get an Observer with his own army, especially if he decides to bring DTs in, which he is. Nope, morphing straight to Archon, so we're going to have that charge lot Archon advantage going on with the +2 about to finish up, and we're only on ones for Sir. He is expanding all over the place, so that's definitely going to play out. But is he going to have the army to back it? Because he's only added 3 additional gates behind all of this, and at this point, when you're expanding all over the place, he should be in the 10, 11, 12 gate range at this point.
Yeah, but I definitely do not agree with going Archons in a PvP game. It looks like he is going to make his probes move around. He's going to try to grab a hidden expansion back here. But I don't agree with Archons being part of your main army in PvP, and the main reason is that they do extra damage to biological, and there's no real biological on Protoss' side. So going into this, the only thing that the Archons are going to be good against are the Zealots. It looks like everything's going to run in, and it's going to be a clash, a little bit of a battle here. Force fields need to go down here, but not going to happen.
Yeah. Well, the Archons do kind of negate the force fields. So at this point, I would like to see some Guardian shields being used, which we are seeing here. But we are seeing we just really getting the better end of this, and we do see SirColveskey going ahead and tapping out there.
That is the power of the that's the power of the Colossus count. That is the power of the upgrades that he had ahead of his opponent. SirColveskey had a really good position at the beginning of the game, but by waiting too long and then continuing to apply pressure, he just threw himself further and further behind. Congratulations to UltraGumby as he makes his way into the next round, and I'm your host once again, IvD HK Rob. Joining me now is IvD Yogi Time. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.